Alright everyone, today we're going to be going over the Rosebud Trend Indicator by DepthHouse. After you've gained access to this indicator, you'll just go to your TradingView chart. Up here at the top, you're going to select the Indicators tab. Ensure you're under the Invite Only Scripts tab. Now if you've gained access to this indicator, it will populate here. So let's search for the Rosebud Trend Indicator. I have a couple, so it's down here at the bottom. You simply select it, and the indicator should populate behind. Go ahead and exit out. And you're going to notice that the bar colors are slightly distorted. This is due to TradingView's border paint. And so to get rid of this, all you have to do is go up here to the top right to Chart Properties, ensure you're under Symbol, and deselect Borders. You'll notice right away that these bar colors became a lot more vibrant and easier to see. Rosebud's primary function uses advanced range calculations in order to aid traders in determining trend direction. Now, the trend direction is determined based on the position of the price action and the cloud. So when the price is above the cloud, bullish action is predicted, and when price action is below the cloud, bearish action is predicted. Users have the ability to adjust the sensitivity of this cloud by simply going up to the settings of the indicator right here, and you have two options. You have trend sensitivity here. By default, it is set to low. Let's go ahead and alter that to high. You will see how much reactive the price action became. We got a much earlier bullish trend change and a much earlier bearish trend change. Now, this increases sensitivity, and a lot of times when you increase sensitivity, this increases noise. So noise can lead to faulty signals, and based on backtest data, over long periods of time, the low settings seem to be the most profitable. So let's go ahead and change that back. Not only do users have the ability to adjust the sensitivity, but users can also adjust the thickness. Now on higher time frames, generally above 1 hour, I like to keep this at 0.5. Now you have the option to lower this. So the options here are 0.5, 0.382, and 0.236. Now if you are unfamiliar with these numbers, these are Fibonacci levels. So let's go ahead and switch this to 236 to show how much more reactive the cloud becomes. So essentially we got a much earlier bullish trend change here and so forth. Just to show the chart, you can see just how reactive it is. And for demonstrational purposes, let's go ahead and switch the trend sensitivity to high as well. We got a much earlier bearish trend change there, which would have turned out very profitable if we traded it. As you may have noticed, not only does the cloud itself change when you adjust these settings, but so do the bar colors. So the bar colors are actually determined by a combination of Rosebud's primary function and the ATR auto oscillator, which users also get access to when they subscribe. So if we zoom in here, you will see that there are different shades of red and green. So based on the simple settings, which is default, if we open up here, bar colors set to simple, when there is strong bearish movement, we get a bright red. And when that price action begins to consolidate, possibly reverse, we get a lighter shade of red until it's followed through by bearish action and the price continues downward. This is the exact opposite for bullish trends. The primary color is green. Bright colored green when it is a strong bullish signal, and that will lighten as the trend weakens. Now the other option here is to switch this to complex. So let's go ahead and do that. And what this does, you get a much larger range of colors. So right here, for example, though we are in a bullish trend, we are still getting red candles, which indicates that there is some very strong selling action going on there. Right here, we had the trend slowly change, very bullish, light green to bright green, and then eventually purple. So what purple is a range break. So this occurs when the price action crosses the range envelope that the indicator plots. So a range break is typically a very bullish signal based on just the data that I have looked at, and a lot of times price action will consolidate and continue moving upwards, and that is exactly what it did. The price action slowly started going down. We got some red colored candles, meaning it's slightly bearish, even though the trend is still bullish. And it came down and it retested the cloud. From the cloud, price action continued upwards into another range break, and then another range break, eventually consolidating and breaking down into a bearish trend. So some users don't like bar colors at all. So in order to get rid of those, you simply just go to the bar colors option and go from complex to off. And now your default bar colors will populate. Now, that said, there are built-in alerts, and range breaks is one of them. Even with that bar colors off, those alerts will still trigger if they are set up properly. So there are essentially two levels of bullish and bearish alerts. There is the level 1 or light bullish alert and light bearish alert. These are essentially these little triangles that you see plotted across the chart. So this here would be considered a light bullish alert. Price action continued upwards and then eventually switched to a bearish trend change. So hey, that did not work out too well. However, down here after the bearish trend change, we had two bearish alerts which did continue downwards. Now these little X's are just alerts stating like, hey, price is overextended. Like I myself may take profit at those profit points. The other level of bullish and bearish alerts generally will only populate under low settings. So if we go back to trend sensitivity, let's switch that to low. And while we're here, let's go ahead and switch the bar colors back to complex. So right there, that bull label, that is considered a strong bullish alert. And let's go down and find one that actually worked out pretty well. We had one right here where price action continues upward into that little X, and then price action did go back down, retest the cloud, and continue upwards once again. Now this is the exact opposite in bearish settings. So right here, it doesn't appear that we got any bearish alerts. However, users have the ability to adjust these settings. So let's go ahead and start messing with these. Going back into the settings, smooth signal on and off and everything below is going to alter your candlesticks and the bullish and bearish alerts. The smooth signal option will greatly increase your alerts if turned off. However, you will get them one bar earlier. I myself like to keep this turned on because this greatly increases the accuracy of these alerts. But for demonstrational purposes, let's look and see what happens if we turn this off. You'll instantly see this shifted to the left. However, we got an earlier alert here, which was a dud, and we got a much better one after. The candlestick length is directly related to the ATR auto oscillator. I always encourage users to alter the ATR auto oscillator to see exactly what is being changed. Generally, if you increase the length and the smoothing, it's going to decrease the amount of alerts that are generated. So let's go ahead, let's change the length to 30, and let's change the candlestick smoothing to 5. So right there, we got numerous additional bearish alerts plotted. And I cannot recall, but I believe that is a new alert as well. The last option would be the candlestick look back. And by decreasing this will greatly increase the number of alerts. So let's drop that down to 2 and see what happens. So over here, we just got a bunch of strong bullish alerts, and that is continuous through the entire chart. I apologize, the actual last option is the cross threshold. So by decreasing this, you will also decrease the amount of strong bearish and bullish alerts that you get. So by increasing it, this will increase the number of alerts. Like we just got a bearish one there right before a bull trend change. So I hope this helps you guys understand what these options do. I strongly encourage users to alter these and find what works best for them. There are numerous variables to take into account. Like I myself, I always prefer to have smooth signaling on, and my cross threshold is usually set at 20. I typically do not alter this, but I like to give users that ability so they can find what works best for them. The last thing I want to briefly talk about is alerts. So I know I've already made another video on how to create custom alerts. However, the Rosebud Trend Indicator has numerous preset alerts built in. For an example, let's go to create an alert. Under condition, let's select Rosebud, and we'll get numerous options below. These first ones listed here are all the preset alerts built within the indicator. We have a bearish trend change, a bullish trend change, and so forth. Essentially, every plotted point we see here, you can get an alert for. Something to keep in mind, if you create an alert right now on a bullish trend change, for example, and reminder, under options, always do once per bar close, otherwise you will get notified before the bar closes and it could be a faulty alert. Let's go ahead and create that. Got the warning, and now let's go to settings. Let's change this to high. The alert that you set up here is based on the previous settings. So whatever settings the indicator is on when you create that alert, that is what is going to trigger. So just take that as a warning. I would hate for people to find out the hard way. Other than that, I hope you guys found this tutorial interesting, maybe a little bit useful. And if you do not use these indicators yet, definitely sign up for a free trial on my website. Other than that, I hope you guys have a good one and good luck trading.